It's that time again for the assault on your ears we call Lower Dorks, a Star Trek Lower Decks podcast. We got some Marin, we got some Stavros, we got some Star Trek. And tonight on our screens is episode 6 of season 3. Hear all, trust nothing. And in our cups is... What was this again, Stavros?
This is our ill-fated attempt to make an iced Ractigino. I use Irish whiskey, so I use Jameson Black Barrel, simple syrup, and coffee liqueur. I use Kahlua, and cream. And it, to be honest, it came out kind of tasting a little bit like a White Russian, but it is tasty and delicious and slightly coffee flavored.
Yes, I didn't quite have, everything I needed, so I had to lean back on a little Bailey's Irish cream. But this time I sprinkled in the Bailey's Irish cream with pumpkin spice flavor. Threw a dash of cinnamon on top. Good. None of these things were necessarily good ideas.
Rumor has it that Ractigino has a little bit of a cinnamon flavor to it, so maybe you had the right idea.
Trying to learn what a Ractigino should taste like, I kind of got the sense that the flavors that were hinted at in the series and in the expanded universe, it's just pumpkin spice, man. Klingons are out there drinking pumpkin spice coffee. Little disappointed, man.
They're like Starbucks hipsters or something, going around drinking coffee.
Let's face it, Klingons, you basic.
Damn. Well, let's talk about the episode Hear All, Trust Nothing. By the way, if you didn't know, Hear All, Trust Nothing is the Ferengi Rule of Acquisition number 190.
Acquisition, Jesus. Started a little early this time.
You had a little bit too much.
Yeah, apparently.
But that Rule of Acquisition was mentioned in the DS9 episode A Call to Arms, which is amazing because, guess what? This is the DS9 episode we've been waiting for. The internet's going crazy. Let's talk about this episode. Hear All, Trust Nothing. When Mariner decides to stay on the Cerritos while the rest of the Warp Core 4 visit her old stomping grounds, Tendi's attempts to evade a fellow Orion wind up in forcing her to revisit her piratey past. Meanwhile, bold Boimler returns to find he has a gambling problem.
Fantastic episode. Can't say enough good things about this, and it's not just the callbacks that really drive it home. I know a lot of people are just like, oh, it's a love letter to DS9, but it's also a good story, It's got good character moments, and the comedy is on point. There's some stuff that I wasn't really a big fan of, but we'll get into that.
Yes, totally. There is so much to talk about. Let's jump right in with a discussion of the DS9-focused plot. God, so much going on. But before we get into the nitty-gritty of going to DS9, I noticed your favorite Admiral Buenamigo, has returned.
Ah, yes. Admiral good friend. What the hell, man?
He's there. He's trying to tell people what to do. He's talking about brown holes.
Yeah, you know what? So I want to know what the Vancouver was actually doing.
Yeah, me too.
So here's the real question. Did we ever learn the Vancouver's class?
I think we did. But I don't know it right off the top of my head. It's something that I can look up.
Are there other ships named after cities? Like, is this the theme of Lower Decks? Is this the theme of Lower Decks? That just like they're doing ships named after cities? Is that what we're getting at here?
It seems like yes, but yes, the Vancouver is Parliament class.
Oh, there we go.
It's fancy. It's not the American junky California classes. It's the nice Parliament class.
That's man, that's harsh.
I know. Anyway, the Vancouver is stuck in a brown hole, and you know what? This could be a little crass, but isn't brown hole kind of the
it's your bum, buddy? It's your bum.
Yeah.
Just saying.
What's the Vancouver doing in butts?
Well, it wasn't doing in butts. The butts was threatening a planet. This really has got me thinking. Like, what is going on here? With this space butt threatening a planet. Like, how is it threatening
I don't know.
So many questions. Ugh.
Yeah. We'll never know.
Honestly,
well, maybe we'll find out
I think the Admiral was just lying, and this was all just a cover-up for...
Just a ploy.
Yeah, some secret mission the Vancouver was sent on we'll learn about later in the season.
Very likely. But anyway, the Admiral gives orders that they are to meet with the Karemma, which, as you know in DS9, are members of the Dominion. I guess trade negotiations are opening back up.
Yeah.
And, they deal with a lot of wine and fleece, and apparently they are down to trade alcohol.
Yeah, again,
lots of crates
after
of alcohol.
The war. Although, when they show up, like, they seem pretty upset about the whole Dominion War outcome. I don't remember them being, like, in DS9... Were they really ride or die Dominionites? I felt like they were like...
I don't think so.
Yeah, I felt they were like, well, we live in the Gamma Quadrant. It's either the Dominion or death. Let's choose the Dominion.
Yeah, I got that impression as well. But they're not used to the Alpha Quadrant peasants.
Ah, yes,
So.
that's what it is.
Did you notice in the crates on the Cerritos, there's a lot of crates like says Romulan ale and all this kind of alcohol. One of the crates was labeled Galardonian milk, like the pig people.
Yeah, gross.
That have the spiders. So is that alcoholic then?
Well, I mean, we don't know. Maybe it's not naturally alcoholic, but like you can ferment anything.
Like you ferment it or something?
You can ferment anything with sugar in it. It's just some things don't ferment well, buddy.
Yeah. I mean, maybe this milk is, unusual in the sense that, you can make a nice drink out of it.
Yeah, or maybe it's like an alien nation situation where there's just certain races that really get off on drinking spoiled milk. Who knows?
Yeah, I hope that's really an airtight container because that cargo bay is going to smell like spoiled milk if they didn't seal that right.
And that smell just doesn't get out of anything for a long time.
It really doesn't.
No.
But let's talk about the Station of the Hour, DS9. Oh, dear God. They put so much work into detail here.
Do you mean the tacky fascist icon?
Cardassian eyesore.
Yeah, oh, God. Such a fantastic
That was the best.
Go
yeah,
Shax.
They show the station. The execution is so good.
Yes.
They show the station and Shax's. They just cut to Shax's, like, pooping on it.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Like, yep,
but you
that's
know what,
in
I gotta
character.
wonder, though, like, you would think that after everything that's happened, wouldn't DS9 kind of, it's gotta be like almost like a holy place to the Bajorans at this point, right? Like, Space Jesus, like, that's where he lived and worked. That's where he saved Bajor from.
That's right.
You know?
Although, I don't know. I mean, does Shax's, maybe he hasn't been back in a long time. Like, he got out when Bajor got liberated, and he's like, I'm not coming back.
Maybe he's just not religious. Maybe he doesn't believe in Space Jesus. Maybe he's just like, Sisko was just a shitty captain.
He was just some guy. He's co-opting the Bajoran religion.
Yeah, that could be it. He's one of those
Anyway, he doesn't like the look.
Christians.
Yeah, that very well could be.
Anyways.
The just keep circling joke that we saw a tease of in the trailer, I didn't think they could improve on that joke, but they totally do. When they show the DS9 theme as you get a good look at the station, and the ensign's like, what do I do? And Ransom's like, just keep circling. And the shot of the Cerritos circling the station comes back, and it starts playing the theme again
it's just
before
looping.
It gets abruptly cut off.
It's amazing.
It's just like so good. That was my favorite joke of the episode. It was a good time.
Oh yes, such a fantastic bit.
But I mean, really a lot of detail too on the station. I mean,
yeah,
dear God,
the space game they've got going on, all of their imagery there is really solid. I got to give them credit.
Really awesome.
It is kind of like jarring when you juxtapose it to what's going on with the interiors because it's good animation, but they're two very different styles.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's a little jarring, especially with whenever the first contact uniforms make an appearance, because I'm so used to being able to see like the zipper line up the collar, and there's like stitching in the shoulders that doesn't come through on the animation. So it is less detailed.
And it's when you look at them compared to the Cerritos uniforms, it's definitely one of those was designed for animation and one of them was not, and it kind of shows.
Right. But it's such a minor critique, though. Like, there's so much pretty stuff to look at.
I wouldn't let a fashion complaint slip by you, you know?
You know, this show has made me hyperfixated on weird details.
Oh,
so
yeah, it's the show. This isn't just a you thing.
I'm maintaining that it's the show's fault. Anyway.
Moving on!
We go into the interior of DS9, just as freaking awesomely detailed. The promenade specifically, and I think the briefing room we get to see. I love that the first intro shot to the promenade does the whole, like, pan around promenade, show people walking around or standing on the second level first before it focuses in on the main characters. I noticed your best buddy, the axolotl alien, was back.
Yes, he's back. I want to know more about these things. We need a character, man. Come on. Make it happen.
Yeah, we need at least the name of the race.
Yeah.
Is it the same guy? No,
probably not. I mean, maybe he's, you know what, for all we know, he's a crew member of the Cerritos. And we just never really see
just
him.
Did a little quick change.
Yeah. Now watch, somebody online is going to be like, well, duh, he's a crew member. Here he is in this scene, and this scene, and this scene. Or do you guys even watch the show?
He said this guy sounds racist. All of the axolotl people sound the same.
Yes,
the same.
Apparently. So there's a ton of stuff that I like in here. There's Jake and Nog XPs standing in like a side hallway. Only it's Bajor and Jake and not Nog. There's Batless R Us, which,
Yes.
with Toys R Us going out of business, like, I just feel like the R Us thing is going to kind of, like, fade into obscurity. It was never a great name.
I was thinking about this, too. Yeah, it's weird because, this is a store that's out of business, but if you think about it, like, this DS9 episode is targeted for people of a certain age that, for nostalgia purposes, so it's got to resonate with the same group of people.
Yeah, like, they were alive to remember it.
Right, exactly. All the Gen Zers are like, what's that mean? Did you notice the Batleth in the front of the Batleth RS is not a classic Klingon Batleth, but it's like the sort of K-less, like old school Batleth style?
Oh, no, I did not
a slightly different style.
notice that at all.
Yeah,
it wasn't,
you got to freeze frame the heck out of it.
It wasn't the sword of Kalos, was it? Because that raises a
I don't know if it was
other
the same sword.
Series of
questions. Are they
questions.
selling the sword of Kalos?
Yeah,
or like a replica or something?
Or like a replica. I mean, where did they see it? I mean, didn't it get like sent off into space the last we saw it?
Yes, it's got to be a replica. Somebody took some scans, and this Batleth RS is selling a 50 gold press platinum priced replica of the sword of Kalos. Maybe that's what's happening. I loved the Rutherford wanting to go dangle his legs. Another homage to Jake and Nog.
Yes.
That was pretty fun. It's a good place for a heart-to-heart with the junior reporter.
You know what? That's killing me. I know that's a reference to something from the series. And it kills me. Like, I'm looking through DS9 episodes. I'm, like, trying to find all the Jake episodes. I know it's somewhere. It exists.
Like that line? Like a spoken dialogue somewhere?
No. It's not that line. It's that scene, right?
Oh.
Jake having a heart-to-heart with a junior reporter. Like, it's enough.
I think Jake is the junior reporter.
No, because I feel like there was a scene where he met somebody that was a writer as well. God, it's been ages. I'm probably wrong, man.
Tweet us if you know. I feel like it's got to be just a general reference, I think. But
I mean, hundreds and hundreds of episodes later, I don't remember all the details. I'm sorry, Internet. I failed.
How dare you? You got to pay more attention. Rewatch the show again. We're pausing recording.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you know what? We got cameos up the wazoo for DS9. Well, up the wazoo. We got 2 big-name cameos. Colonel Kira we meet in the Promenade. Or, I'm sorry, not the Promenade. The Ops.
Yeah.
Ops. Yes. And, of course, we can see the baseball is still in there.
I'm going to take a step back. When they show the Ops scene, and it reminded me of something that always bothered me about DS9, the teleporter on the bridge. Like, it makes sense for quick getaways, but it just seems so insecure. It's just like, and there's not even like a door on it, right? It doesn't close.
I know.
People can just beam on board and you're screwed.
Maybe it's one of those, like, only the transporter, the controls in Ops can actually work it or something.
No, because in the show, freaking Gul Dukat beams in from the outside and is all like, watch me twirl my invisible villain mustache. And then it turns out that, somebody had already out-villained him and he wound up trapped on the station. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. What's really interesting, though, about this scene is when the Cerritos senior officers show up, the scene mirrors when Cisco first steps onto the station.
Ooh, I didn't realize
Kira's
that.
back is to the door and they enter in. But the exchange is so different. She's not raging.
Of course.
She's not angry to see Starfleet there. She's very happy about it.
Yeah, this is like nice Kira.
Yeah.
I didn't think that existed. Hey, one thing I noticed, am I crazy for missing the end of DS9 or something? But it's only Bajoran officers in Ops. So does Starfleet not run the station anymore, really? It's all Bajorans all the time?
I was kind of wondering that, because you don't see many Starfleet officers. You see the one Orion, obviously, and he's in the DS9 style uniform.
Right.
Maybe they're not as big of a presence as they once were. Without a war there, the station's largely fixed up and upgraded.
Right.
Yeah, maybe it's not a tumultuous area anymore. They may not need as big of a presence,
Yeah. Mesk, the Orion dude, obviously works there, so there must be some kind of presence, but it's weird that there was just nobody in Ops. But minor detail.
Yeah.
I love the Shax Kira interaction that just turns into a whole episode-long thing of trying to one-up each other.
It's weird.
That was amazing.
That Shax and Kira know each other. It kind of feels racist. Like, oh yeah, all Bajorans know each other. Like, also, why is Kira still a colonel? Like, you would think after all she did, she would get like a promotion. I mean, there's got to be something above colonel.
In the show, she was only a colonel for a couple of years before the show ended. And Lower Decks only picks up a couple years after that, so I don't know. How long is somebody supposed to be a colonel for before they're promoted?
I don't know. I just feel like, she should be some higher ranking individual, like a general or something at this point. Just feels wrong.
Have the provisional government just toss her a whole new name.
I mean,
well, I hope it's not a provisional government
she
anymore.
took down Cardassia, man. Like, that's next level.
That's true.
For a poor Bajoran resistance fighter.
That's right.
She got the Cardassians to turn against their own people.
Yeah.
I mean,
what skill?
Yeah.
She developed that persuasion skill for sure. But I love that introduction. They got the actress to come in, and she sounds really great. But I mean, back to the Shax-Kira relationship, though. We haven't really talked a lot about the Karemma's plan to like sabotage the station and kidnap Quark. But when Shax like shoves her out of the way. Isn't he basically causing
the
whole
blackout end problem? If he had just let Kira get hit,
yeah, nothing would happen.
Nothing would have happened. I mean, he didn't know that in
maybe.
the time, but whatever.
That's true. And he gets congratulated for it at the end, and Kira traps him into owing her one. Nothing would have happened. They should have known in retrospect.
Well, I mean, they didn't know what it was. You can't blame them for that.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true. But then we got our second cameo. We got Quark, voiced by Armin Shimmerman. He is back.
At first, I don't know if it was the first scenes they filmed or something, but there was something off about his voice. But he definitely gets more and more Quark-like as it goes along. Whereas Kira, there's just something off about her whole, the tone and tenor of her voice. But it may just be, everything she's been through, the character has changed. Maybe that's
you got to expect the actors got to change their voice a little bit too.
Well, yeah, and they are older now.
But I did notice maybe there was something off with Armin Shimmerman's teeth or something. He didn't quite get the voice. This is what I remember.
And that's what I
awesome.
think it may be too. Sometimes it sounded like the teeth were in, and sometimes it sounded like they weren't. Imagine it's got to be hard to deliver lines with fake teeth like that.
Totally. Yeah, when you're doing voice acting, you got the stupid things in your mouth, and you gotta be like zany Quark. I actually want to talk about that. We talked before about how Riker is kind of over the top Riker for this show.
Yeah.
But now we've got Quark doing kind of screaming and squealing, and he's got the line where Kira teases him about being happier or poor than in prison. And he's like, no. And it's very squealy, kind of over the top. But it was fun.
You know what, though? I mean, yeah, it was very good presentation all the way through. Armin Shimmerman did a fantastic job.
We also learn a lot about Quark's business operations. He's got Quark's restaurants franchised. I love in the intro shot for Quark's, there's this Vulcan leaving Quark's.
With all the full
Quark's
swag
t-shirt.
Collection. He's got the hat, the t-shirt. I wonder what's in the bag, man. What's the
yeah, I was wondering, is this Space DoorDash? He's delivering Quark's food to somebody in the Habitat Ring?
I doubt it. I highly doubt it. I think he is just into Quark's.
It could be. There is that whole gift shop and everything, so there is that.
Yes, that is what's going on.
I loved all the stuff in the gift shop. We see the return of the Ferengi ears that we saw in a previous episode this season. They got t-shirts. They got the plush dolls.
Yeah, I think the plush dolls...
bugs.
Were the plush dolls Grand Negus dolls? Is that what I was seeing?
Were they?
I think
I
so.
don't know. I didn't know there's that much detail in there. But yeah, it could very well be. That whole Quark's bar looks exactly the same except for the inclusion of the gift shop there. So
yeah.
It's a good time.
Well,
it's
and funny. The new replicator.
Yes, and in fact, let's go to that next. You notice the drink that they're all drinking is this layered color drink. I did a little research. That is actually a drink from DS9. It's called the Medela Aperitif from the DS9 episode Dramatis Personae.
Oh, I do not remember that at all.
It's supposed to be on the sweet side. Yeah.
We'll have to make one up.
It was all crazy layered. I feel like if we tried to do something like that for the show, do some kind of layered drink, it would just turn out like a disaster. I don't know how they made that prop for the show.
You got to believe in us, man. We can do it.
Maybe for a future episode.
Indeed.
We'll make the attempt. The Medela Aperitif. Let's see. What else about Quark? One of the funniest things is when the Karemma guy calls Quark a long-lobed halfling when he's getting pissed at him. And that made me laugh. I had the captions on, so I caught it on the second go-around. But calling him a little halfling
raises a lot of questions, though. Is there a space Tolkien on Karemma that wrote Space Lord of the Rings? I gotta know.
Are there more space halflings out there then? Or
I don't know.
Just one of many?
Not gonna lie, Quark's whole angry about the Dominion War shtick he had me going. I'm all like, wow, this is a new side to
You're
Quark.
like, I agree with him.
And then it's like, oh, no.
He's full of crap.
Shit. Quark is still
Nope,
Quark.
he's actually just stealing. Indeed. Very in character. I love how they go back to the inclusion of the Karemma, because Quark did do some business with them on behalf of the Grand Nagus in DS9, so making them come back like this was a nice little callback to the old DS9 episodes.
Yes.
But also in Quarks is the dabo table, and who is the best at gambling? Apparently Boimler with his clutch. I don't know what he keeps in that, but he was trading it in for gold press latinum and making tons of money.
Probably strips of latinum.
And like that little coin purse?
Yeah, just little tiny, like, they're the ones that they used to
Tiny
use
little
to,
strips.
like, pay. I don't know whether they were strips or slips or whatever, but, you know, you saw him in DS9 occasionally. When Liquidator Brunt goes and he's, like, paying his respects to the Negus and he keeps dropping the little tiny ones in there, he's probably got, like, 5 or 6 in there and, you know, turned it into a mountain.
Yeah. It was amazing. There's a couple close-up shots of the dabo table, and dear God, just like the rest of DS9, the interior and exterior, there is so much detail on the dabo table. I feel like the only other time I've seen one is the presentation in Star Trek Online, where it's a very, you know, top-down, flat view. Here it's way more detailed, looks amazing. Total props to the art crew there for making it look so awesome.
This whole episode, just very high detailed. But you know what? They've really turned it up a notch season after season after season, so
Totally.
doesn't surprise me at all.
Definitely not.
I'll tell you, though, you know where we did see a really high detailed dabo table that we haven't mentioned?
Ooh, where?
In DS9.
You think so?
Did you watch the show?
Oh god,
Moving on.
That's too much iced Rectagino for you, buddy.
Okay,
To pull it back a notch.
what's the next thing we're going to talk about? Are we staying on the DS9 plot? I think there's more to say here.
Yeah, there is more. Well, to finish off Boimler though, he comes out with this coupon that gives him double the latinum value for use in the Quark gift shop, and he gets super riffed up, man. I mean, he comes back with this armful of stuff, and it's, let's see, another set of ears. He got a little flag, a foam finger, a snow globe with DS9 in it, a coffee mug, and a shot glass. But that's it. I mean, he had a freaking mountain of latinum, and that's all he got for it. And he was all happy about it.
You're assuming he used it all. Did he say he spent it all? We don't know.
Oh yeah, maybe he kept some of it in reserve.
Like, I would love that
Possible.
to be like a running gag in the series. Every time they see a corpse, he's like, I gotta go in there. And he comes out with an armload of stuff every time.
I love it. But let's move on to the other DS9 stuff that's going on. The Tendi, Rutherford, and our new buddy, the Orion Mesk. I hated Mesk from the get-go, which of course is the intention. He, of course, we realize he's kind of got the Orion personality going on and annoying Tendi because Tendi doesn't want to, fess up. She kind of wants to bury that part of her past.
Yes.
But in reality, he's from Cincinnati.
Yeah, I called it from the get-go. Like, the first time he's talking to Rutherford, I'm just like, there's no way this guy is this shady and in Starfleet. He's full of it.
He's not shady is the thing.
That's it.
Yeah,
and
totally.
he was full of it, and I was correct. I called it. Unlike Quark, who was even more obvious.
I had this thought, though. You know who also grew up on Earth and was from an alien culture?
Worf!
That
He
you'd never met?
is
Yes.
Orion Worf! Who just... And I love the fact, I'm really sad that they, I hope this character comes back, right? And, they just have to keep calling him out on all the stuff he gets wrong about his own culture, just like they did to Worf in DS9. Maybe at some point, Ensign Barnes will have to tell him that, you have this view of Orion culture, and it's never been that. I would love to see that scene.
I love it. 100%.
So bring him back, McMahon. More Mesk.
Yeah, I just want him to be himself. And I love that theme that's coming back time and again in Star Trek and at least in Lower Decks. You're not a freaking Orion from the Orion Syndicate, man. You're Orion that grew up on Earth. Just be yourself, dummy. Same thing with Tendi. She buries her past, as she says at the end. That's part of your past. Be yourself, dummy.
I don't know why you're so obsessed with telling other people how to live. You want to be you? Be you. You want to be somebody else? Be somebody else.
Be whoever you want to be.
Be whoever you
want
to be. You want to be an Orion pirate? Be an Orion pirate.
So this guy, you're in support of the Mesk Orion pirate persona, then?
No, that guy was a
wanted to be
dumbass. He needs to tone
If you're a
it down
dumbass, don't
some.
be what you want to be.
Yeah.
Got it.
No, you can be who you want to be. Just be who you want to be somewhere that isn't around me.
There you go. That makes sense.
Indeed.
You can do whatever you want in the privacy of your own home. You could be as an Orion pirate. Just don't leave in your quarters.
Yeah.
That sounds like your philosophy.
Anyways, now that we're done with this dumb tangent.
I love the Orion multi-key that we see. Does Tendi keep that at the end, or does he give it back to Mesk?
I don't remember.
She knows how to use it.
Yeah.
I don't think they really address that necessarily.
Yeah. But I do like the fact, though, that he recognizes Tendi's family name. And that kind of plays into the whole, like, just they reveal a lot about Tendi's background, but they still leave a lot open. Like, there's not enough specifics to where it's all like, well, this story's done.
Yeah. I love it. We get a lot of the Tendi development here.
Yeah.
The latest addition to the Tendi Orion pirate conspiracy.
Yes.
Did you like the pirate shanties, by the way?
Oh my god. Freaking, we need more. Like, let's get a whole album of Orion pirate shanties.
We'll make it big on YouTube by putting out Orion
I
pirate
mean, a
shanties.
few years back, there was that viral trend of people singing sea shanties. We're going to make it happen with Orion pirate shanties.
Yeah. Make it happen. We'll partner with the sea shanty biggest YouTuber and have him sing Orions, and we'll get 600 views.
Sounds like a lot of work.
That does.
Let's not and say we did.
But speaking about Tendi, though,
Best
she goes all like super
in
pirate.
The series. Shh, I'm pirating.
I'm pirating. That's so good. Hey, why is she awesome at everything now? Like she can,
she was
do
before.
engineering
Remember
stuff.
when she was the cleaner?
Yeah, the cleaner. Yeah.
That's why she's going into general science.
She's got general skills. That much is sure. Did you notice when they go on the Karemma's bridge, that dude is like, "Oh no!" and jumps off the railing. That guy's dead, man.
I don't know. He may not be dead. He could have just been badly injured.
He screams for a long time, and he goes, "Ah!"
Nobody even bothers to check. They're just like, "Oh yeah, he's done." Maybe there's no gravity down there. Maybe it's the whole. Maybe it's the whole Mayweather sweet spot thing again. And he just eventually, floated around down there till he hit the ceiling or sat on the ceiling or something. I don't know.
That was awesome.
And then, of course, that leads to the final dramatic countdown as Tendi races against time to avoid going through the wormhole. Which, it's two ways, guys. It could have gone through and then you can just turn around and come back, right?
I know.
Isn't that how that works?
She could only disable the ship, is the plot to explain that.
I don't know. Seems like a really shitty pirate if all you can do is disable a ship. You're supposed to take it over.
That's right, yeah. You gotta be able to fly it to pirate it. You gotta run before the authorities catch up. Before you get tractor beamed.
Indeed.
But yeah, no, I love the Tendi development happening there. I want her to embrace her background and be herself. She's got that experience. You just gotta accept it. You can't just bury it.
Oh my god.
That's the philosophical line there.
Okay. I will let you believe whatever you want to believe. Some people should bury their past. That's all I'm saying. I've known some people, and every time they start telling me their life story, I just want to tell them to shut up.
You're just like, nope. You're just noping out of that one.
That's when the earbuds go in, and I look at them, and I can tell that I tell them I can't read lips. I hope they get the message.
There you go. You got the right idea.
But hey, is that it for the A plot? Do we have a B plot to talk about?
I think so. Yes, let's talk about the B plot. That's the Mariner Jen plot. First of all, I love that the Warp Core 4 are so into the Jen Mariner relationship when she pops her head out in the bunks area.
Not in the bunks area! She pops her head out of Mariner's bunk! She was
was it Mariner's bunk? I didn't catch that.
With Mariner. I had to watch the scene again to confirm it.
I didn't realize.
Right?
That was amazing. But it's so cute. All the friends are all supportive of it. Definitely a cute couple. The internet loves them, of course.
Of course. Well, I mean, most of the internet. I saw some Reddit comments get removed. Certain implication of what's going on there. Come on, get it together, people.
I've seen a lot of Reddit involving Talin, but that's a story for another episode.
Yeah, but they're usually shipping Talin with Boimler, so, whatever. Internet.
That's weird. Yeah. But anyway, back to Jen here. So Jen invites Mariner to hang out with her friends. Kind of weird how this all goes down. Mariner, of course, gets told that she's bossy by her friends. So first of all, is she bossy? I mean, she's in command, the command division, right? Doesn't that mean that that's just her skill?
She's kind of bossy, yeah.
Is she bossy too?
Bit.
It's a little too bossy.
But are we skipping over something here? Where was she invited to?
The salon.
The salon.
The salon party.
Wow, these ensigns are full of themselves.
Yeah,
salons And it's funny because, like, the reason it was called the salon was because that was, like, the room of, like, the mansion that you would meet in. And it'd be a bunch of, like, cultural leaders.
Yeah. It's like intellectual, cultural discussions.
Are any of these people even lieutenants? Come on. Y'all full of it.
Yeah. They're just, like, taking advantage of that one of them has access to the room. I think it must be that one from the Enterprise. They served on the Enterprise for, like, 1 minute.
Yes.
Castro,
yes.
Ensign Castro.
It's an interesting thing about Castro. Did you notice how she pronounces salon?
What did she say?
She pronounces it, instead of salon, like everybody else,
Salon?
Ceylon, right?
Ceylon.
Yes.
Interesting.
And you know who else pronounces it that way? Malcolm Reed.
She's trying to do, like, the fake British thing to sound smart.
Well, that or she's seen Malcolm Reed's old television commercials.
Very likely.
Oh, man.
I love that they describe the style there as Betazoid Casual, because you don't want to go Betazoid Formal, because that's no clothes. But Betazoid Casual is just
raises
sweats.
a question for me, though. Have we heard a reference to this before, that Betazoid Casual is sweats? Have we? Like, or is this something new? I mean, is this a reference
I think it's
to
gotta
something?
be new.
Did Lon Suitor wear sweats a lot or something? That's where they grabbed it from?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think so, though. I feel like maybe that was his murder wear or something, you know?
It could be.
I don't know.
I think they're just making the joke of the formal wear, which is nothing.
Yes.
So Betazoid Casual
sweats.
is
sweats, which
Yeah.
it's not next to nothing. It doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is weird. But you know what's even weirder is that
they're
all the
making
women
candles?
there are into Boimler.
No, they're making candles.
Well, that too.
That's the weird thing, man. Candle
That is
making
weird.
parties. You know what? It just disappoints me that they're going to survive that far into the future.
I didn't realize they were a thing. I kind of had to look around to realize it was an actual thing people did.
God, I don't know.
But why are all the women into Boimler? What's going on with Boimler's, like, strange attractiveness? It's the purple hair.
You know what? Maybe it's just residual effects from his parasite.
He's got the extra pheromones
Yeah,
going
he's
off.
still
And
got the
people are really into it.
pheromones going off. Or maybe they just, like, remember the pheromones and are like, oh, yeah. Since they never got to get with him, like his previous girlfriend, there was never a been there, done that. There's still that interest.
There's that mystique.
Yeah, there's
still.
the mystique.
Right.
What's underneath that uniform? And Mariner knows, because she had that horrible training experience.
Yes,
And so
that is true.
she's moved on.
I love during that sequence, Mariner's pouring herself a drink, and
How
she
did
just pours
she
the entire
fit
bottle.
the whole bottle into the
know.
cup? Is it like an extra dimensional cup? Is this a TARDIS cup? Is it bigger on the inside? Come on,
That's what it seems like.
animators. You were doing such a great
Yeah.
job.
They're trying to execute the comedy. I feel like just a little bit of a gaffe there, maybe.
No,
Either way, it's still
I
funny.
think it was intentional to show just how much alcohol she was going to need to get through this.
Yes. She doesn't get that messed up, though. There is that. But let's talk more about Jen's intentions with Mariner here. Because, you know, it comes out that Jen, she wants Mariner to come and freak out her friends with her bossiness, apparently, or, you know, abrasiveness.
She wants to take them
but she
down
doesn't
a
say
notch.
that.
She wants Mariner to tell them how terrible they are and how annoying they are.
Yeah, but why doesn't she say that?
Well,
there's just communication issues there, man.
Come on.
Any
Are you
relationship
gonna be
based
like,
on communications.
Hey, honey, you want to go hang out with my friends? And if you don't, just do me a favor. Tell them how terrible they all are for me. I'd appreciate that. I know you're going to hate
Just
them.
be you,
just
be
get
you.
it out of the
Yeah.
system.
Yeah.
No,
That's
I
all she
feel
got to
like
do.
that would not work in a normal relationship.
It's just just dropping it on her would be is better.
It also raises so many questions. If you find these people so insufferable, why are you still friends with them?
Why is she hanging out? Yeah.
I don't know.
A lot of questions indeed.
I feel like there's a complex plethora of issues going on here that I don't need to delve into. I don't need to be a cartoon head shrinker, thank you. I'm not Dr. Katz, goddammit.
Yeah, probably for the best. But Jen also says that one of the main reasons why she likes Mariner is because she's unexpected. But here's the thing about relationships, especially long-term ones, is even the most unexpected partner ever will have some degree of, you know, you'll get to know them, right? So they become less expected. So is this really a long-term qualification for a relationship with these two?
And that's it. I don't think anybody's really unexpected, right? Literally, this is an episode where Mariner did the unexpected thing. Jen wanted her to be Mariner and tell off her friends.
That's true.
And she was bummed out that Mariner did not do the expected thing. Even the most unexpected people you hang around them long enough and you're, quoting them before they say it,
Right.
People are not that random.
It's just one of those things, like, they're still in the honeymoon phase, and she's just like, oh, you're so unexpected. I love that.
Yes, and I think what she actually means is different. Mariner is different from her usual Starfleet friends. It's not unexpected. It's not random. It's just different. And eventually, you'll realize that difference is normal.
Yes. All right. Well, maybe perhaps there is a future for them after all.
I don't know. I do want to know, though, comment on a couple of things here. The meat of the party and the weird things they were doing there. I wasn't in the Enterprise. The Enterprise was in me all along. What the fuck does that even mean? And it started out as like a horror story. Like, it was a dark
It was
night.
A dark and stormy 578.2.
Yeah, and then it's like, it starts out with this horror beginning, and then at the end it's this aspirational speech. What is going on here?
I don't know.
Oh, man.
I don't think they're supposed to be making sense.
I don't blame Mariner for wanting to phaser these people at all.
Speaking of phasering, does she just have it on her at all times?
She brought a phaser to a party! No, not necessarily. We don't know that for sure. But there's one of two things that this scene implies. Either Mariner brought a phaser to a party, which raises lots of questions. What is she, from Texas? Jesus. Or Castro just keeps a phaser in her quarters, which I can't believe is by the book regulation Starfleet behavior.
Hey, we've seen that before. As I recall, there's a Next Gen episode where Geordi just like opens a drawer and a phaser's in there, and he shoots the monster that's hiding out as the dog. Do you remember that episode of TNG?
I don't remember that.
There is precedent.
Oh my god.
Yeah, just opening drawers and pulling phasers out of drawers.
I feel like Starfleet would secure their weapons at all times. Especially knowing that like a phaser has like enough power to destroy a building. Like, I feel like you just wouldn't allow people to keep that in their sock drawer. And I know gun nuts are a little weird. I had a former roommate who one day I came home and found a shotgun in the fridge. They set him down in weird places. But you know what?
That is weird.
This is an organization with a hierarchical structure and inventories. Eventually somebody's going to say, hey, Geordi, you remember that
got a little,
phaser
phaser
you checked out 6 months ago?
I feel like Shax is missing some of his duties a little bit there, maybe.
Or, maybe Shax is doing the same thing.
It's
I
possible.
feel like Shax would be the kind of guy who has, a phaser in every drawer in his room.
Yeah.
And people come in and they're like, why do you have a painting of a phaser on your wall? Oh, that's not a painting.
I feel like, Mariner's stashed enough contraband on the Cerritos to make me question Shax's competency anyway, so...
Wow. Poor Shax.
There's that. I know, he doesn't really have the best
or maybe he's an Odo-style figure. He knows what's going on, but he lets it happen for,
Yeah, so he can track it.
Yeah, so he can, catch the bigger problems.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I like that. Maybe that's what's going on there.
That's my theory. And I'm sticking to it.
Again, speaking of phasers, how does them shooting themselves?
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of suicidal, right?
We've established that in one of the films, I think Star Trek 6, you stun at close range. That could be dangerous.
Well, but even more than that, they're in a room with dwindling oxygen supplies. Like,
no one's going to come
die in your sleep, I guess, Mariner and Jen. And you know what, though?
They're rolling the dice.
But you're right. Like, how does that get them out of trouble?
I don't know.
It's not like
I get the preserving oxygen thing.
Didn't see who was phasering them.
Yeah, I know. There wasn't any erase memory phaser shots going on there.
But maybe it's like the logic is, well, if we phaser ourselves, they'll know that we were doing it to try and save everybody. Maybe that's the logic.
Okay. That can make sense.
But I will say this, Jen, way too into Mariner phasering her friend. She's like in the background all giddy and clapping and cheering. It's all like, wow.
I really hope somebody makes a gif of the excited Jen clap, because that was pretty awesome.
Frankly, I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't already exist. It's just amazing.
Very likely. So that was good. Overall, I like we get a little character development out of Mariner here. Like, she's willing to try new things with Jen, but in reality, she too must learn to be herself. The theme returns.
Well, there's a time for being yourself and a time for sucking it up and saying, yes, sir, that's a great idea, sir. I'll vent all of Deck 3 to space immediately.
Yeah, you got a good point there.
Yes.
But do you want to give your final thoughts, your summary, your summation of what you think about this episode?
You know what? Overall, solid episode. We're going to give it... Let's go with 3 pumpkins out of a jar of turpentine. Just solid.
Ooh.
Really great.
That's high marks.
High marks. My main problems, the Shax-Kira relationship, the Quark, being Quark, a little too expected. Orion guy, a little too over the top and telling.
Yeah.
You know what? Just kind of edged it out of being, 3 pineapples out of a jar of mayonnaise.
So close to the pineapple rating. So close. I thought that I love this episode. I think this is probably one of the strongest ones. I thought last week's was good, but I think this one edged it out a bit. It's obviously going for the DS9 nostalgia, right? Like, this episode is clearly like, hey, you remember DS9? Yeah. Well, guess what? We're going to DS9. So, like, fine points for that, but the episode is solid too. Plot's fun.
Yep.
And we get long-term character development for both Tendi and Mariner. So, hard to go wrong with all the things that are going on here. Yeah. The minor things do not eclipse the positives that come out of this.
It leans heavily on nostalgia, but does not rely 100% on it. It makes its own joke in its own way. Yeah.
I love that the writers and producers are professional enough. They get it. They understand what's going on to make it that work. So it's a good time.
Yeah, let's just stop stroking the writers and producers' egos before they get too full of themselves.
Stop now. You know what? If you want to come on the show, we'll stroke away if that's what you want. Well, come on the show, talk with us. We'll stroke your egos. Buddy. It'll be a good time. I feel like we're getting too close to a brown hole territory here, so maybe we should call it a night.
Yeah, we've gone a little bit far. Jesus. Oh man, yeah. So I'm done. I mean, I'll never be done, but I'm out of things in bottles. Is all that I have left is empty bottles and regrets. So I'm done for the night. It's over. I'm out at least till next week when we come back to watch episode 7 of season 3. Till then, catch us on Twitter at Lower Dorks, or put on your Betazoid Casual and make your way to a candlelit telling of how a strange, bespectacled man realized the Cerritos was inside him all along.
It truly was.
And not in the metaphorical way.
No, it was very physical.